Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Diggie. Tonight we're not going to be using the Instant Pot. We're actually going to go back to an old fallback of mine, my pre-Instant Pot days, which is roasted vegetables. So instead of using the Instant Pot or a skillet or something like that, we have a big old roasting pan. And you guys will see that a little bit later on in the video. This recipe is delicious. It's one of my favorites. I've made it 100 times. It's a good opportunity to take vegetables that you might not eat on a regular basis: asparagus, beets, onions, other vegetables that you would avoid if you had the option, and give them a chance to cooperate in a pan and become tasty. Also, one thing, while you're cutting up, you'll see me in a second cutting up all these vegetables. If you guys do this at home, I recommend taking a little bit of each vegetable and eating it just to kind of get that base flavor, because most of the time, if you eat a Brussels sprout, it's probably got bacon fat with it, or if you eat a beet, it might be pickled. You know what I mean? So give yourself a chance to try that out, and if nothing else, every time a raw vegan tries to convince you how to live, you can know that they're wrong. So yeah, give it a shot and let's do it. One of the things I really like about roasted vegetables is that you can take a lot of non-traditionally accepted vegetables and put them all in a pan, apply some heat over time, and they all sweeten up, and they shake hands to become a delicious version of themselves. In my opinion, the most delicious version. So in order, let's go clockwise. We got asparagus, we got beets, we got broccoli, sweet potatoes, one summer squash, Brussels sprouts, onion, coconut oil. We'll show you how to use that later, and extra virgin olive oil. And last but not least, my favorite vegetable, bacon. I went ahead and saved you guys from having to watch me peel those vegetables because it's boring and you guys should know how to do it. But what I should say is this Farberware vegetable peeler that I bought a really long time ago is still going strong, and it's unique in the sense that it's got a one-directional ceramic blade on it. I'm really starting to dig these ceramic blades. I like as you guys know, I have an affinity for the old silver, but ceramic's really making a dent in the modern kitchen. I like it, and if you get a chance, you should try it out and see what you think about it for yourself. All right, let's get into chopping. Start with the simplest, which is the broccoli. We're just going to cut off the florets, which is going to be anything from here on up, little trees. Take off the tips, just kind of rock your knife around there. They fall right off. Set that to the side and into the pan. The second one, start rocking them all off. This is the tastiest kind of deforestation. Alright, and the third. A little Fern Gully action up in here. There we go, that's all done. These guys, well, technically you can roast them. I don't know, give it a shot. I've done it before. I could kind of go either way. If you do want to ingest these, I would cut them down to smaller sizes because they're so dense, So just keep that in mind. If you're going to cook them, you got to make them smaller so that they'll cook as quickly as the rest of these things. We'll move on to the beets. When you're in the store, you'll find beets hidden because they're attached to these long, they look like little shrunken heads. So you'll see the beet greens attached to them. When you get those, just cut this part off. That's where all the sugary goodness is at. I meet a lot of people that aren't aware that beets are actually sweet. You just cut them, kind of eat them raw if you want. Crunchy, got a real sugary vibe to them. Most people are raised with the pickled beets, so they only know them to be that kind of tart pickled flavor. But high sugar content in the beets, and it's really going to mix with all the other flavors in the roasted vegetables. Make all this stuff come together beautifully. But it seems to go one way or another. People either love beets or don't, because of the earthy flavor that they have. That's not really something that everybody's used to. I sure like them. They're real colorful. It makes you think they got a lot of vitamins, although I don't know. I'm just cutting these in half, cutting them into 1-inch slices, turning, and then Get them all kind of that consistency right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Nice, awesome beets. And it looks pretty hardcore because you get all this rock and roll red all over your hands. All right. All right, last beet. So hopefully I'll be able to mess with the time-lapse function on this portion of the video so that you guys don't have to watch me do the same repetitive action over and over again. That being said, I'll try to do it as quickly as possible without losing a finger. Alright, my favorite part about roasted vegetables is just that I think, well, in my opinion, some of these don't really shine on their own. Kind of looking at Brussels sprouts when I'm saying that. Together, you know, everyone achieves more. So I think you put them all in the pan together. Let me preheat this oven real quick. You're gonna want your oven to be at about 450 degrees, which seems high, but you got a lot of plant stuff to break down in this pan. You kind of need it to be there. All right, beets are done. Moving on to sweet potatoes. These ones, actually cut them in half, and then that gives me a steady space to work with. So everything I cut, I want to, just for safety's sake, cut a straight line into, so that when I'm cutting this, I want the most stable surface to be down. So I'll redo that on the next one. That, lay it down, and cut it. Cool, so this pan will start filling up, and that's totally okay, because you'll get, ideally you would love like a huge pan that just has one layer of veggies, but even if you have a couple, 3 layers of, look at what we're also already up to. And we got all those veggies in there, and there's gonna be a lot more. So ultimately the heat will do what it's supposed to do, cook it and make it all good. See, so this is what I was talking about. You got this plantain shaped thing, this peeled sweet potato here. I don't want to be trying to cut anything like that because I like my hands. So lay it down, flattest angle, cut it directly down the middle, then voila, we have these surfaces to cut it on. Cut that flat again, lay down the flatness, cut 1, 2, got it. Keep that going. I'm always astounded looking at restaurants and stuff, and the guys that go in and prep all this stuff before the doors open. It's a lot of work, but in this instance, I suppose in all instances, it's worth it. Just when you're doing a lot of deadlifts the day before, you certainly feel the stooping over the counter. So hopefully someday if I have my own house, I can get some nice big grown-up counters. And just stools for everybody else who's under 6 feet. All right, 1, 2. Always watch those fingers. All right, last sweet potato. Cut her right down the middle. Down the middle again. Lay it down. There we go. There's really, uniformity is important here, but it's not a beauty pageant. All this stuff is, ultimately, well, we all know where it's going, but before it gets there, it really doesn't have to look too gorgeous. If you're trying to impress a significant other or something, they'll be impressed enough by the fact that you took the time to cut all the vegetables for them and leave them in the oven until they were done. So just don't sweat it, cooking. Try to be as Bob Ross as possible when it comes to cooking. Like, if I got protein, fat, and carbs in the right ratio that my body wants, it's all good past that, All right. So we are done with sweet potatoes. On to these little monsters, asparagus. That's right, that's the word for them. So these guys, super duper simple. You just want to wash them like you wash all the other veggies. And then this bottom part right here, you can just go ahead and cut off about, I don't know, 2 inches. Take them all at once. Get all that out of there. Then you got that left, and just make similar cuts. So about every 2 inches, and one more, and then boom. All your asparagus is prepped. Chuck that in the pan. Alright, we'll knock out the onion. This one I'm not going to cut like I did on my other onion videos, because I don't want a chopped onion. I want more along the lines of kind of quarters or sixth of an onion, because when subjected to that kind of heat, this onion is going to wilt and kind of do cool things in there. So I'm going to cut it right down the middle. I'm going to cut it again, and then 1, 2. So I kind of leave this with these oniony chunks, just kind of sprinkle them on in there. Good to go. We'll get those when we mix them up. Cut it like that. Turn 1, 2. All right. Sprinkle. Cool. Second to last, or not counting the bacon, but here we go. We got Brussels sprouts. These tiny little cabbages, every kid's nightmare. They're real simple to cut, and I promise they're going to taste really good when this dish is done. What you want to do is cut the back of it off and then cut them in half. So I'll show you. So got that little thing off right there, turn it on its side, cut it in half, and then you got that right there. And those are the size and shape that we're going to put in there. It gives a lot of surface area for it to get caramelized and turn tasty and accept the flavors of all of its new pan friends. So give me a second, I'm going to do that to all the rest of them. Alright, all done with that. I'm going to take a second to clean as I go. I got the trash can right on the edge of the counter. Send all that stuff down south. Always make sure you clean as you go, because you never want to get done cooking something and have a whole kitchen to clean. So just keep a good pace with yourself. If you can't keep up, cook slower and clean faster. You know, it's all about lowering that stress level for you, so you can do what you're here to do, which is enjoy tasty food. I'm realizing now that this pan is getting quite full, so I've decided against using the summer squash, this happy little guy. But we'll find out a dish to do with him next time. Now, as promised, last vegetable going in is the bacon. So you want to cut right down the thick skin of the bacon. Pop that out, and you can reach your fingers in and slide the bacon out, just like so. And then you give it a cut about every 2 inches. If your knife is sharp enough, it'll go right through it. Always keep your knives sharp. This is cherry wood bacon. I don't suppose it matters, but I was in the grocery store, and I was going to grab some hickory, and some older fella, he's like, no, you gotta go with the cherry wood. And I don't know why he felt like he should talk to me at that point, but I'm glad that he did, because this stuff already smells good. So I don't know. Hopefully that guy wasn't just a figment of my imagination. And even if he was, my imagination probably made the right choice. Alright, you guys might be alarmed I'm using the entirety of the bacon, but I make no apologies. Alright, so we got that there. All the bacons. Now we're going to go add in a little bit of salt, a little bit of oil, and hopefully get this into the oven soon. It's almost preheated. Alright gang, so at this point we have all of the vegetables that I ran you through, with the exception of the summer squash, who's going to have to wait till the next recipe. Got all that mixed up in there. We got some bacon, we got broccoli, Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, some olive oil that I tossed in earlier, an onion, all the deliciousness. We want everything pretty much evenly coated in oil, just so that things don't burn in there. And the oven's preheated now. This I stumbled upon by accident. A long time ago, my pre-Instapot days, I used to make a lot of roasted vegetables, and I ran out of olive oil, and I needed to add a little bit extra oil to the dish because it was drying out. So grabbed my coconut oil about halfway through the cooking process, added that in, finished the cooking process, and they were absolutely twice as good as I had ever had them. So to this day, I add in coconut oil halfway through the cooking process. Glad to have stumbled on that little tidbit, but it sure kind of kicks them up that extra notch. All right, let's put them inside the oven. All right, that's hotter than it looks. So always wear oven mitts, or don't. Just make sure you don't touch any of the hot metal parts. All right, we're gonna close that down. Let's see if I can turn the light on for next time, but we're gonna leave that in for about 20 minutes. And when we get back, we'll add some coconut oil and finish it until all of the vegetables are fork tender. And they're gonna be amazing. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, veggies are out at the 20-minute mark. They're looking like they're broken down a little bit, but not near where we need to get them. So we're gonna hop over to our little spoonful of coconut oil here. Pop that out, mix it on in. It'll mix in nicely with everything's really hot right now. So as you can see, give that all a chance to incorporate. Give the guys on the bottom, which are going to be soaking in more moisture, give them the chance to rise to the top. See, those onions are breaking apart. So the wet ones on the bottom will rise to the top, and they'll get a chance to dry out and caramelize a little bit. They can get the center spotlight. All right, last little bit there. It's looking good. And we're gonna put those back in the oven until they are fork tender, which just means that your fork is gonna go right through them. Let's put that back in, not with our bare hands, that would hurt. I use a mitt. All right, back inside, and I'll see you when they're done. These are roasted to perfection. As you can see, fork goes right in. No catching, no sticking. Good to go. Got the bacon in there, got everything. So I'm about to eat way too many of these and then go to bed. But I hope you guys get the chance to try this meal out for yourself. Doesn't necessarily have to be these vegetables, but these are kind of my go-tos. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and enjoy.